What's up, movie crew? So recently I made an announcement on Instagram that I was going to do complete collection videos for both my 4K collection and my Steelbook collection. Those videos are still coming, but I did not realize that I have 300 plus 4Ks and I am still trying to count my Steelbooks. Yeah, it's a lot larger than I thought. So while I'm still counting those and sorting those out, I did mention in one of my previous collection videos, my Shout Factory collection, that I would eventually do 2 videos based on some of the stuff I excluded. Now, if you saw that one, then you know that I mentioned I would not be showing off my IFC Midnight titles and my Ghibli titles. Reason being is that Shout Factory did not release everything from both of these studios. And I was looking and I realized all of my Ghibli stuff is right there in front of me, so I'm going to show off the Studio Ghibli stuff today. So I've got one thing that predates Ghibli but is very much attached to Ghibli. Most of the movies, and then over here I've got 2 nice little rare finds. So without further ado, let's get into this. Future Boy Conan. This is one of the TV series that the creator himself, Hayao Miyazaki, started on before the formation of Studio Ghibli, the other one being Lupin the Third. I do not have Lupin the Third, by the way. Not a bad anime for anyone that wants to check it out. Just I don't know it. Simple as that. But this recently became available in America on Blu-ray for the first time ever, so I had to pick it up. I have yet to watch this. I'm going to be honest, I don't know when I'm going to watch it. Nausicaaof. This is the first directorial feature from Hayao Miyazaki. It technically predates Studio Ghibli, but since Ghibli is his company, it does bear the Ghibli logo in the States. Castle in the Sky. Gotta be honest with everyone, not a bad movie, just not one of my favorites. This one's definitely on the lower end of the spectrum for me. But it is still not bad. And hopefully I don't drop any of these because a lot of these are Steelbooks. My Neighbor Totoro. This is one of my favorites from Studio Ghibli. As someone who has had my own bouts with anxiety and just need times where I'm just losing it, this is my go-to movie to watch to help de-stress and to avoid a potential anxiety attack. So I don't know who all is in the same boat as me with that stuff, but this is a go-to for me. And going in the exact opposite direction, Grave of the Fireflies. This one, stateside, is not released by Ghibli. I gotta say, major shout out to Sentai Filmworks for doing a similar style with the Steelbook. Let me try to move it over a little bit so you can see the fireflies. Good movie, very, very depressing. This is a sad movie. Warning everyone now before you watch it. GKids Delivery Service. This one's kind of in the same vein as Totoro, where if you need just something to watch to help de-stress, this one is one I very much recommend. It's a fun movie to watch. There's really not much else to say, but definitely check this one out if you're looking for a de-stress type movie. Only Yesterday. Now, at the time of me recording this video, only yesterday has been announced to be getting a Steelbook treatment like the previous Steelbooks you have just seen. I am probably going to upgrade to the Steelbook just because it kind of fits in with the rest of the collection. Not a bad movie, but again, this one's kind of in the same vein for me as Castle in the Sky. It's a good movie, just not one I regularly watch. Porco Rosso. Fun movie. Got a lot of layers to it. I would definitely say for anyone that's on the fence about Ghibli, probably not a movie you should watch. But if you've seen some of the other movies, definitely check this one out. I don't know if it's going to be everyone's cup of tea, but personally, I enjoyed it. Ocean Waves. Because I do know a lot of people that are watching this probably don't normally know much about anime because I don't feature a lot of anime on the channel. This one is a fully subbed movie, so warning anyone now that wants to check this one out. Personally, I think it's a good movie, but again, because of it being a fully subbed movie, there's no English dub for this one. You gotta be able to give it your full attention. Ponyo. This is the Disney release. Most of these come from Shout Factory and Universal. This one is from when Disney had the rights to it. It's not a bad movie, but it's very much in your face with what they try to deliver as far as their message goes. And given that the other ones, it's kind of layered in, this one being directly in your face kind of makes it stick out, not in the best of ways. It's still a good movie, and there's definitely a lot of people that I think would love it. But personally, because I do own so many of the Ghibli movies, not exactly one I regularly go back to. Whisper of the Heart. This is a pretty good movie. I highly recommend checking it out. I mean, given this time of year, definitely worth checking out. And unlike some of the other Ghibli movies that I am sharing, this one has a spin-off movie. Most of these other ones are very much a standalone, in its own world sort of thing. This one does have a spin-off, which I will be getting to momentarily. Alright, so the next movie is one of the most acclaimed Ghibli movies made ever. And this is also the movie that introduced me to the world of Studio Ghibli, and that is Princess Mononoke. Now, a lot of the movies I've been showing off are rated G and PG. This one is PG-13, and it gets a little dark. It's not quite level of Grave of the Fireflies, but to any parents that are watching this, this is one you might want to watch first before you let your kids watch. This is one of the ones that showed up in one of my Groove hauls. I'm going to be honest, I have not yet watched this one, so I can't really give too much of an opinion on it. And that is My Neighbors the Yamadas. Again, I don't know much about this one. I can tell you that it does have a different animation style from the other movies I am showing off. And it is one of the shorter movies at 1 hour and 40 minutes. Unfortunately, that's about as much as I can tell you. This next one is hands down my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. In fact, where I have shared owning Weathering with You and Your Name on here before, That director, one of the reasons I don't like one of his movies is because it's too much of trying to be like this movie. This is also one of the most acclaimed movies in Japan. Not one of the most acclaimed anime, one of the most acclaimed movies. One that I highly recommend anyone checking out. I think this movie is a masterpiece, and that is Spirited Away. This movie could easily fit on one of my personal best movies of all time lists. There's very few things that I have watched, animated, anime, live action, that can go against this. It is that good of a movie. So to anyone that's on the fence about wanting to check some of these out because you're not into anime, this one right here is worth checking out for so many different reasons. I am not even just saying that because it's my favorite. I am saying it because this movie holds up against a lot of other movies out there. Earlier, I showed you Whisper of the Heart, and I mentioned that it does have a spinoff, and that is The Cat Returns. So personally, I actually like this movie more than Whisper of the Heart. But not everyone agrees with me on that one. As a matter of fact, there's almost no one that does. And some of you are probably wondering why I don't have the Steelbook for this one. Long story short, I got this released for $1 when FYE was still open and before I was really doing a lot of let's watch a movie stuff. They had a deal where it was buy 2 used movies, get one for $1. This was my $1 movie. This next one, again, this is another one of my favorite movies in the Ghibli library, and that is Howl's Moving Castle. I also want to point out that one of the lead characters is voiced by none other than Christian Bale. Keep that in mind. He doesn't normally do a lot of voiceover roles. And he lent his voice to this one. So keep that in mind. This movie, again, it has a lot of stuff going on. It has a good message, and it's something that's fairly accessible for just about anyone. The next one, Ponyo. So like Kiki's Delivery Service and My Neighbor Totoro, this is a nice little feel-good movie. It's one of the shorter ones. I believe this one is... Oh, I've got the... Yeah, this one's right at 1 hour and 40 minutes. And it's a nice little feel-good movie. The Secret World of Arrietty. Alright, to anyone that's my age, in the millennials category, this is from the same source material as The Borrowers. So for anyone that has seen that and knows what I'm talking about, then you might want to check this one out too. Alright, so these next few, I am nearing the end of the collection. I've got 3 more of my movies to show off and then 2 of the random special editions to show off. These next 3 I have not watched yet. First one is from Up on Poppy Hill. I have not watched this one yet because my 2 least favorite movies from Studio Ghibli are Tales from Earthsea and Earwig and the Witch. I haven't gotten to Earwig and the Witch yet in the timeline. Long story short, spoiler alert, I don't own it. That is the worst movie Studio Ghibli has ever released. Tales from Earthsea, prior to the release of Earwig and the Witch, was the worst movie Studio Ghibli's ever released. And the director of those two is the same director of this one. Because of that, I have been on the fence about watching this one. I have heard this one's not bad, but because he did make the two worst movies that Studio Ghibli's ever released, I have yet to watch it. I will probably watch it in May when there's an anime month, and I believe it is in May because it's called Anime May. I'll probably watch it then and show it off during the month of May. So this next movie, Miyazaki went into this one thinking this was going to be his final directorial feature. He had been approached the age where both of his parents had died. He was approaching the age where many family members of his, that's the point where they pass away. So he went into this one thinking this was going to be his final release because he thought he did not have much time left on Earth. To anyone that's wondering, he is still alive and still working on movies. But the movie that he thought was going to be his final release was The Wind Rises. I have not watched this one recently because I bought this one during Christmas season. Christmas season is not a fun time for me. Therefore, I don't watch movies that are considered sad and depressing. And I have been told this is a very sad movie. Again, I'm in a better spot now mentally, so I will probably be watching this one sooner rather than later. And to anyone that follows like Geek Gab News and some of the other physical media people on Instagram, then you already know that in addition to only yesterday getting a Steelbook, the Tale of Princess Kaguya is also getting a Steelbook. Again, I have not watched this one. I only just recently got this one. I haven't watched it yet because this one's almost 2.5 hours long, and with everything I have going on, I have to be a little careful on everything I watch in a specified amount of time. But that is the most recent release in my Studio Ghibli collection. I showed everything off in order from Future Boy Conan to Tale of Princess Kaguya. So now I'm going to show off the two things that you've already seen, but this is one of the times where I have indeed double dipped for various reasons. The first one, My Neighbor Totoro. So, for those that don't know, some of the Studio Ghibli movies have been around for a while. I think everything I showed up from Future Boy Conan to, I want to say, Princess Mononoke were released in the 80s and 90s. Other than Dragon Ball Z, not a lot of anime was really popular in America in the 90s. There was Dragon Ball Z, there was Pokemon. Akira was starting to get a lot more traction second go around over here because it inspired one of the inspirations for The Matrix. So long story short, over here, a lot of the movies were leased to various areas, various studios. Some of them were leased out to airlines for people to just watch something on the airplane when going to Japan. And because of that, when everything got streamlined to Disney and later with GKids, the dubbing cast changed. And one of the ones where I was able to get my hands on it was My Neighbor Totoro. This one is referred to online as the FoxDub, because it was Fox that released this particular DVD. For anyone wondering, no, this is not available on Blu-ray. The Blu-ray release features the Fanning sisters voicing the lead characters, whereas this one, I want to say, features the voice of Angelica from Rugrats on one of the characters, and I don't remember the other one. Not an easy find. To anyone that would like it, I would be down to doing a compare and contrast between this dubbing and the more recent release, the more common release now. So if you want that, comment down below and I'll do something. I'm going to tell everyone now, my opinion is very much different from the other opinions that you may have seen. And finally, as I have mentioned before, my favorite Studio Ghibli movie is Spirited Away. This past Christmas, my local Walmart had a couple of the Ghibli movies on one of their racks. And one thing they managed to get in for a brief period of time was the special edition of Spirited Away. This features a book, it features the Blu-ray, and it features the soundtrack. Now the one con with this is that all of these that are the GKids releases are Blu-ray DVD combo packs, and the DVD to Spirited Away does feature a documentary that's not on Blu-ray, so you don't get that, but you get the soundtrack. And let me get this open. So there is the box. There is a booklet. Features some of the artwork. Features various essays by different people. And then the big one. We got the Blu-ray, and we got the soundtrack with the track listing. But this is probably hands down my favorite thing I own in my Ghibli collection. It is one of the nicer things that I have been able to get my hands on. And I got it for a reasonable price because it was at Walmart, not somewhere like FYE. Again, no offense because I do miss my FYE being here. But that is my complete Studio Ghibli collection. Again, if you would like to see me do a video where I talk about the differences between the FoxDub of Totoro and the most common release of Totoro stateside, comment down below. And as always, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. You like what you see? Leave a thumbs up. Comment down below your favorite Studio Ghibli movie. To anyone that would like my personal recommendations. Obviously, Spirited Away is my favorite. My Neighbor Totoro is a movie I watch to help ease my anxiety or de-stress after having a stressful day. And Howl's Moving Castle is another personal favorite of mine. I know another friend of mine, she has mentioned that Princess Mononoke is one of her favorite movies, and where Totoro is my de-stress movie, Ponyo is her de-stress movie. So there are some recommendations for you. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all for watching and tune in next time.